Good afternoon and welcome to everyone out there in Webland to this week's Tuesday Talk. So Tuesday the 9th of March 2021, and today we are joined by our regular Tuesday talker here at In Control Scotland Central, and it's Michael McEwan this week.
Hi, Keith.
Hi, Michael. So this week you're going to share some thoughts about representation of disabled people in the media and some of your own personal experiences.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent, good. So I will go and I will rejoin you in about half an hour.
Yeah.
Nice to have you here, Michael.
Thank you. Yeah. So good afternoon, everybody, or wherever you're watching this on Citizens Network TV. It's either good evening or good morning to you. And also you're watching this on In Control's YouTube channel and Facebook channel as well. So my name is Michael McEwan, and I'm usually here, the second Tuesday of the month, speaking about different issues. And if you want to comment, you can do so at the comments below, and or hopefully I'll read some out or see some during the next half an hour. So today I'm going to speak about disability representation in the media, because I feel as though that we should be highlighting this issue. First of all, if you saw me speaking before or saw me speaking about media before, I am a kind of like freelance journalist where I comment on different issues and different disability issues as well. In the past, I started off at Hospital Radio many moons ago, and then I went on to some community radio stations as well to do various shows. But up until now, I've been lucky, I've been quite fortunate to get a commission by the BBC Scotland channel, and most recently in November there, I was on STV. I got a commission from STV, so I've been quite lucky, quite fortunate in a way, because, as you know, the media is quite difficult to kind of like break into in a way. So I've did that, and the story that I did for STV back in November was about highlighting the problem that people faces with a disability getting into employment at any time, but specifically around coronavirus. One school I get to on the report was one man from Edinburgh who actually got a job, but 2 weeks before he gets started, he got a letter flew from the company that he's working with, and they withdrew his job. So he started, he got the job, but within 2 weeks later, he got a letter flew from his new boss and withdrawing his application and withdrawing him from the job. So that's one example. And there's other examples as well. And you can look it up on my website, www.michaelmcEwan.webs.com, and you can see all my show reels and all that and what have you. Also do in later years, I work for an organisation called IRIS. They do a lot of research into disabilities and mental health. So once a month I get commissioned to do different podcasts looking at different ways. So in the past about 4 or 5 years, I've been going about Scotland, well, not obviously now, but over Zoom, email, interviewing different people and that was quite interesting as well. I've did that. I've also wrote a bit for the Sunday Herald back in the 2014 when the Commonwealth Games was in Scotland. I wrote a bit about the para sports within the Commonwealth Games, and also I wrote a bit about the referendum as well in 2014. I also write blogs now and again for TFN. That's the First Force News, and I wrote about different campaigns and different issues affecting people with a disability. Now, if you watch the last Tuesday talks, I used that time to speak about the Paralympics and why it's important to get household names in reality or everyday life TV, the likes of Johnny Peacock and all the rest of it, like Will Bailey. No, sorry, not Will Bailey. And I can't remember his name actually, but and he was in Scotty Come Dancing as well. So you could see the comparison of disability sports or disability programs, but they're breaking into the mainstream kind of media and TV, radio, and what have you. And that's what I want to see for disabled people in the way forward, because as well as you would say as well as my specialist subject, disability issues, but I've also got a passion for sports, I've got a passion for politics, I've got a passion for the arts, and current affairs, like news, like what's happening at the moment. And there's a lot happening in the news apart from the coronavirus. So I would like to break into there to speak about mainstream issues as well. And I know why I wanted to do this today is to highlight it for people with any kind of disability or anybody that's thinking about employing somebody with a disability into the media. I think that the media has got a couple of strands to it. If you say the media to people, they say, well, TV and radio, but and newspapers, but they don't really think of podcasting and stuff. I do a podcast once a month, and it's called Disability Bites, and it's a kind of magazine podcast where we look at the disability issues affecting people in Scotland. I've also started a video vlog with Dr. Danielle Farrell. You might have saw Danielle Farrell doing Tuesday Talks, and I think she's here at the first Tuesday of every month. So we done a vlog, and I actually put it out last night, and it was about highlighting the programme about people with a disability, the history of disability. It was on BBC a few months ago, and also the KK Price's son Harvey, and they were looking for a kind of school for Harvey to go to, and all that. So we spoke about these kind of issues in the vlog as well. And in the coming months, we'll be doing more vlogs and stuff. And if you've got any ideas, let us know. So I think when we speak about the Paralympics, I always think of the last leg, because the last leg was a kind of magazine kind of program after the Paralympics every night, back in 2012 in London, and that was a kind of magazine program, but the Pacific, they're looking at disability sports and try to Yeah, so basically, where can people access my vlogs? You can either go to my Facebook page, because it's from Michael McEwan. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Twitter as well. And on my website, as I said. But yeah, my Facebook and Twitter is a good way of looking to see my vlogs. And just touching upon my vlogs as well, that I wasn't a big people said to me before, Michael, you should do vlogs, you should do vlogs, you should do vlogs. And I said, well, it's not really my kind of thing. But when lockdown first started, back in March now last year, everybody, when I went onto my social media channels, everybody was turning to vlogs. And I thought, well, okay, I'll give it a go. So I set up my own YouTube channel. So I've been vlogging kind of like every night, speaking about different issues, disability, but I'm also trying to break away from disability issues as well. So going back to what I was saying about the last leg, I think that was a good program because it was a magazine comedy kind of program, talk show as it were. That you're doing this, how do you think that disabled people can get together and have a say? Yeah, well, obviously there's a lot of kind of groups going about and all that. We at Control Scotland with myself, Danielle Farrell, Keith, and Aliska Minty that we work with. We set up a workshop for people to get together to speak about to speak about the media. And if you want to get involved in the next one, all you need to do is drop me a post on my Facebook. Just look for Michael McEwan on Facebook, or Danielle, or tweet us as well. And what we did was we invited different people from BBC Scotland and STV to look at that exact point that you made there about how we make the media more inclusive and more welcoming to disabled people, and stop kind of like holding them in a way by, only phoning me or phoning Danielle or phoning other people to comment on other different disability issues. We're not saying that we don't want to do that. What we're saying is we want to comment on other issues as well, apart from disability. So hopefully that answered your question. If you've got any other comments, you can comment below. Yeah. So what I was saying about the last leg, it was a brilliant program. It was to highlight the achievements won by the para-athletes during 2012 in London. And I was pleased to see that when the Paralympics finished, the last leg is still now on Channel 4. So it's really got commissioned for the past couple of years. And obviously it's got two presenters with a disability, and one presenter with like a non-disability, as it were. And they get commissioned to do that. Now it's just a show. It's not like we won't speak about, they still speak about disability issues, yeah, but they speak about mainstream issues as well, like so Brexit and all that, and in the case with politics issues as well. Donald Trump, that's his name. I was trying to look for there. And and it's a good show. It's on every Friday night at Channel 4. I think it's at 10 o'clock or something. If you haven't watched it, watch it because it's good. And they invite people on. They invite different guests from the world of entertainment and the arts coming together and have an interview, but also speak about disability issues. But that's not like the be all and end all as well. So I was pleased to say that when I speak about the Paralympics, I always refer back to the last leg, because they've actually did well over the years as well. And then when you look at TV soaps as well, the likes of EastEnders, Emmerdale, and Coronation Street, they've actually brought in characters with a disability to play a part, but also play so some play disabled characters, or some people play non-disabled characters in a way that I suppose when I'm speaking about that, the big debate was about a few years ago, and I was actually on Radio Scotland talking about this, about there was a big uproar about people with disabilities only playing disabled characters, and non-disabled people or able-bodied people playing disabled people, and the disabled community was a bit annoyed at that. They were kind of like up in arms about that. Obviously, that might be a different debate for a different Tuesday talks, or debate amongst yourself. But in my eyes, it's not right. Disabled people can play disabled characters, but also they can play people with a non-disability as well. So that was a big issue, kind of like a few years ago, and that. But also, I think it really helps as well on TV when that you've got, like weather presenters or news presenters. Thinking about BBC Scotland and Ian Hamilton. Ian Hamilton's registered blind, but he's actually a news reporter. But he reports on mainstream issues as well as disabled issues. So that's good to see. I think we need to see more people in the media to break down the barriers, as it were. I use that word barriers quite a lot, actually, in terms of society, but also in the media as well. And also, you see disabled characters or walk-on parts, and as I say, TV shows and adverts as well on the telly. But you would like to see more of it. My biggest thing is when the Paralympics is on, the TV companies are all over it. But when the Paralympics is finished, you see some TV programs, but not kind of like out there kind of highlighting the programs. Obviously, we've seen programs because of COVID, and people with a disability or mental health care package, the care packages has been cut, and that's powerful to see. Obviously, we might have known that issue before coronavirus as well. So it's just to kind of like highlight these kind of like issues. But I always like to see people with a disability, whether it's on the telly or on the radio newspaper, speaking about disability issues, but also highlighting the fact that, oh yeah, I can speak about other issues as well. Because I remember speaking to somebody one day, and they were saying to me, Michael, you're a journalist. That's it. And I was like, yeah, I never thought about it that way before, thinking about, Michael, you're a journalist. You can, you can speak about anything that you want. Well, obviously, if you're a journalist, you've got to kind of be ready to comment on different issues, whether that's coming up to Brexit or whether that's coming up to the Westminster or the Scottish elections this year as well. And these issues affect a lot of people with a disability, yeah, but also affects a lot of kind of people, mainstream kind of like issues as well. So, I thought I would just use my Tuesday talks to speak about these issues and highlight these issues as well, because it's all well and good having people on disabled programs speaking about disability issues, but really you want to see people on mainstream issues as well. Now, how right, okay, so I've got a question here. It says, how do people from the media find out about you and your contact, Michael? Yeah, so as I said, just go on to my website. I think it was up there a minute ago. I'll just give you, it's michaelmckewan.webs.com. That's michaelmckewanwebs.com. Yeah, that's it there. And then you can find me on all the social media channels, Facebook and Twitter. The only one I'm not on is Instagram, because I feel as though I've got enough at the moment to attend with. So yeah, I mean, over the past couple of months, I've seen quite a few people, not quite a few people, 2 people actually on Question Time, and it was two comedians in the one, like one first guy after another, and that was good because, as you know, Question Time is a political show and they speak about politics, and obviously disability comes into that as well. So it was good to hear Rosie Jones, her name is, she's got cerebral palsy. She's a big kind of disability advocate. And she knows her stuff, to be quite honest with you. And she was on there speaking about the whole benefit system and why it's not working when it becomes to, different benefits like PIP and all that. So, and I was good to see somebody on that kind of show highlighting these kind of issues. So I would like to say, I would like to see more people on these kind of shows, like sort of, like you've got daytime shows like This Morning, Morning Live on BBC. You've got Jeremy Vine. I'm not doing a free advert for all the TV shows, but just giving you an idea of what kind of programs out there, what people can, get involved in as well. I think one thing, if you're watching this and you want to get into the media a bit like me, how do you go around? Well, it's not easy. It's kind of like hard. Yeah. So Citizens TV is saying, what would your top tips be? Yeah. So I was just about to come to that one, because years ago, somebody said to me, Michael, don't email out and say, are you looking for any kind of disability commentators or whatever? That's fine, but it's the same email that you're sending to different people. What would be to pitch ideas? That's how I got my work, by pitching ideas to the STV and also the BBC. So pitch ideas. I would say do as much research as you can, and also when you're looking at a story, no matter if it's on TV, radio, newspapers, always find a case study to think about, because they always look for a case study. It doesn't matter if you've got a wonderful, brilliant story, but as long as you've got a case study to tell with that story. For instance, the story that I did for STV, I had to find 3 different case studies to tell the story. And then what you do is that you back it up with the statistics. So whether that could be through the Fraser of Aranda or other outlets working on behalf for the Scottish Government, because they would always have numbers or stats to kind of like back it up. If you're watching this and if you're thinking, I would really like to do that, how you're getting involved, but I think the best thing would be, and everybody says this, hospital radio is a good way of doing it. Maybe not now because you're not like in hospitals, but the best way to do is kind of like hospital radio, community radio, and then get as much experience as you can and kind of like build up your experience. And then network as well is a good tip, because you don't know when that you're going to be speaking or when you're going to be needing that person to speak to as well. So always say to the person, can I hold on to your name and number? And obviously people will say yes and all that. And so hold on to the numbers. I suppose that's a good way of networking as well. And then from there, because I've got work for the BBC, STV and all that, I've built up links to, networks of different people within the BBC. Now, there's 2 sides to the BBC, because it's BBC Radio and BBC TV, so that the same people might not work for both. So it might be 2 separate kinds of people. I forgot to mention this as well at the beginning. I also write for my local paper, so I do that once a month. I've been doing that for about 3 or 4 years now. Again, I'm writing about disability issues, just because I'm the chair of my local disability group, and they've gave us space in the local paper to write about issues affecting disabled people, whether it's in Scotland, England, or all over the world, basically. And I've basically got a free rein on that. The only thing is, if you want to write oils, if you want to do journalism work or whatever, you would need to be ready for working to deadlines. You've just got into a habit of that as well. And depends what newspaper you work for, depends what size of the space they give you, depends on how many words that you do. All right. Finally, Michael, what have you been your favourite piece of work? And well, that's a good question. And I think my favourite bit in the media was way back at the beginning. Say that again. Way back at the beginning, I've always wanted to do TV and radio work, and I've done that. But I think over the past couple of years, I've been doing bits. The bit that I did for the BBC, and also the bit I gave for STV. So that's not one answer. That's maybe 2 answers there. I also gig a short film for the BBC Social. I'm part of the Social as well up at the BBC. And a way back, I did this film about 2 years ago. But the BBC actually commissioned it last year. So there was me and another few people with a disability telling the stories. And that actually got commissioned. That was actually on the BBC Scotland channel. I think it was late December, early November. I can't remember. So these are my favourite bits of work. I started writing, but I kind of just fell into my writing work. I didn't really want to do it at the time, but I love writing now. Sometimes I have kind of writer's block. about, oh, what am I going to speak about today? What am I going to write about? But 9 times out of 10, I do come up with something to write about. But just bear that in mind, if you want to start writing, you need to have a wee think about what you're going to write about and stuff. So hopefully that answers all your questions for today. And thanks for watching the Tuesday Talks. And I'll be back next month with another Tuesday Talks. I don't know what I'm doing on yet, but obviously, if you're interested in watching this back, you can do it through the In Control YouTube channel, Facebook, or on Citizens Network TV, or you can email me at the bottom. Keith's just put up the link there, and as I said, you can get me on Facebook or on Twitter as well. So yeah, so thanks for watching today, and I'll see you soon. Yep.